Hi, I'm Sarah Elder, and today I would like to introduce you to my friend Mark. Mark is 25 years old and Filipino. He was adopted from the Philippines when he was a baby and has an older brother who was also adopted as a baby. He grew up on the East Coast and eventually ended up in Texas. He was a professional ballet dancer for several years, and now he's married, and he and his wife teach and direct a company program with a dance company in Amarillo. Mark and I first met at a summer dance intensive program in 2012. Later, he joined a professional touring company, but he eventually accepted a job teaching and dancing at the ballet company in Lubbock, the one that I was dancing with at the time. We reconnected and built up our friendship. My husband and I became really good friends with Mark and his wife. We now live in different cities, but we see each other often, and both of us are expecting baby girls this spring. Mark agreed to be part of this project and shared a lot of his life experiences with me. He's a great person, and I learned a lot about him. It definitely helped to deepen our friendship. The first concept that I wanted to talk about is that of assimilation. Since Mark was adopted, he came to America from another country, but since he was a baby, he's not a normal immigrant. When he was talking about his experiences growing up, he really did not experience any discrimination or problems because of his race, even though he had white parents and grew up in a largely white area. His school did not have a lot of diversity, but he said that the kids really didn't pay any attention to the fact that he and his brother were of a different race. Mark's parents were in a higher social class. They were very well off and white, and I wondered if that had an effect on how he and his brother grew up, since they did not experience a lot of discrimination and were easily accepted by his parents, friends, and family. According to Iceland, cultural capital is the term given to attributes that you possess that give you an advantage in life and affect your ability to advance in the world. Even though Mark was of a different race, he's Asian, and that typically has positive stereotypes associated with it. And that may be another reason that he was able to assimilate so well once he arrived. His family being white, well off, and of a good social status likely gave him cultural capital, since he grew up wealthy and from a good family. And of course, being male gave Mark many advantages, since that is recognized as being a privileged group. In Privilege, Power, and Difference, Johnson spoke a great deal about gender roles, and the privilege that usually comes along with being male. So not only did Mark have positive advantages from being Asian, he had positive advantages from being male. However, he chose a career that's not very common and is female dominated, that of dance. And so he did have to deal with a lot of negative stereotypes growing up in the dance world. He told me that he did not like to tell people at school that he was a dancer. And he had to fight with stereotypes about being gay, about his sexuality, things like that are fairly common for male dancers to face. However, being male still gave him an advantage, since males are pretty rare in the dance world. Mostly females take ballet, train in ballet, and end up dancing ballet. And so he was able to get a lot of specialized training, both because he was male and again because he was Asian. He said that it seemed to give him an advantage, and teachers were more willing to work with him because they considered him to be talented. I learned a lot from interviewing Mark. I wish that I could talk about it more. I was surprised to learn how little negative effect his race had had on his life. He really did not suffer any discrimination growing up or currently. And it goes to show that race and other labels really are just social constructs. The people he grew up around genuinely did not care that he was of a different race than his parents, and they accepted him for who he was. And I also learned that you can be in both privileged and in minority groups at the same time. Obviously, Mark is in a minority group because of his race. However, his race being specifically Asian seemed to put him in a privileged group rather than not, and being male also put him in a privileged group, and this had a really positive effect on his life. However, acceptance by others really is the game changer, I think, here and in any other circumstances, because Mark grew up in an accepting environment with people who loved him for who he was. It really had a positive impact on his life. He was able to do so much more than I think most people would be able to in his situation. And that is all. Thank you so much for watching.